Right now I'm sitting in my cabin on a cruise ship. As you can see beside me here, I've got this superb view out of my cabin window with the fresh smell of the river coming in and this beautiful nature all around me. And I switch the television on and all I hear is broadcasts about suicide rates spiralling amongst businessmen, children on medication because of depression and stress, students under stress, losing their hair because of stress. And I think, what can we do about it? You know, because like everybody else, I've spent years too going through my periods of stress and hopefully learning a lot about how to manage stress rather than get lost in it and understand where it comes from. You know, clearly most of it comes from our thinking and the habits of our conditioning and society and the pressures of society. There's no question that everybody has pressures on them to survive, to be able to pay their bills, to be able to buy the meals and all the things that they want to buy. But the question is, why is it that we spiral into such a state of stress, illness, depression, that we get these kind of news reports on the television that are literally spiraling out of control by the sound of what the news bulletins are saying, at least anyway. So in looking at that and lots of groups that I've worked with, the simple things that are missing, that we do not expose ourselves to in terms of thinking about it, being aware of it every day, is the pressures that we create in our own thinking processes. Like the thoughts of, I have to do this and I have to do that and I must do this and I must live up to what people want me to live up to, I must say what people want me to say, do what people want me to do. All of that is a stress. It is medically provable that every thought is an electrobiochemical response that we send, or create actually, and then we send through our brain. And that thought is carried like a signal through the central nervous system to every cell of the body, and depending on the dominance of the thought, the body responds to the most dominant thought. So if that's one of self-criticism, self-judgment, driving ourselves too hard in order to achieve, in order to feel okay and survive, then the body holds all of that, which of course becomes stress. And then after that, that can become a habit. So we get into an everyday habit of holding ourselves in stress, and we get addicted to the adrenaline of stress. So I've worked with many people, especially business people, that just don't know how to get off of the hoop. And normally they only break that loop and hoop that they're going around and round in of that stress when something happens, a catalyst that gets their attention, which is either financial breakdown, relationship breakdown, or illness. Then they stop and pay attention, and they say things like this to me: God, you know, I knew I should have stopped ages ago, I just didn't. I say to them, well, why didn't you stop? Well, I didn't know. What would I have done instead? I'm so used to being busy, I'm so used to filling the space, I'm so used to not stopping and being quiet and just having quiet moments with myself, because it's boring, isn't it? Boring? So I say to them, well, actually, have you ever really tried it? Obviously most of them say, well, no, because I just think it would be boring. So what we miss, which is so simple and so obvious, when we're in stress, mental, emotional, physical, most of the time we're not breathing properly. We're either upper chest breathing, which is like that because we're thinking up, and then the breath is following it, or we're shallow breathing, which means that there's very little energy coming into the body. So if you think of the breath is like the fuel in the tank to run the car, if we don't have sufficient life force from the breath in the body, then it's relatively weak. So the body posture becomes weak, the whole demeanor becomes low in vitality and energy, and we try and run on half a tank, if that. So we rarely breathe properly, which is to actually use our whole breathing capacity to think down, relax the body, and to breathe into the solar plexus, a nice deep breath into the abdominal area, and expand the lungs. So you get a full breath. In yoga it's called a full yogic breath, which instantly energizes you, instantly makes you feel better, and instantly makes you feel at least a bit less stressed. But like anything, if you do it with practice, it's a regular process in your life, and abdominal breathing becomes your habit, then you have much more energy and you're least prone to becoming stressed and reactive. A lot of people that I see that are really stressed, they're like powder kegs. You've only got to say a tiny little thing and they explode all over you. They get all upset, they fall apart, and you think, it's like as simple as saying, why did you do that? And all you get is excuses and defense because they feel so volatile. So it's actually very difficult even to communicate with a person who's under the duress of their own stressful thinking, stressful emotions and stressful behaviour. It's even difficult to help them in the beginning because you've got to get through the stress before they're even able to calm themselves enough to be able to listen to any supportive or constructive criticism from anybody else that could really help them and help them to change their lives. So, from my experiences of going through all of those things myself and still noticing how the human personality and the body is tempted and prone to be subject to those matters under moments of pressure, I've learned, be aware. How am I thinking in any given moment? Am I thinking in a stressful manner that might be totally unnecessary? It's just me putting myself under a pressure and externalizing that and the responsibility for it onto something or someone else, rather than taking responsibility for what I'm doing in here, inside my body. Because when you really look at it, most stressful situations have got very little to do with what's happening externally. It has everything to do with what we're doing internally as an attitudinal response to whatever's happening. So if we stop and remind ourselves, think, relax, notice if the body's holding tension. Many people are holding tension, so their shoulders are up like this. Relax the body. Think, breathe. Think, relax as you breathe out. Think, enjoy. Immediately, it completely changes, literally, the electro-biochemical makeup within your physical body. How bad can that be? And that's why we have things like practices of yoga and many of the great models that people have brought into play and practice, Tai Chi, working out, proper diet, proper balance in your life, proper breathing, proper relaxation, proper study of the right things that inspire you to think properly and run your life properly, and basically take far more personal responsibility for how we drive this vehicle and how we choose to spend our life force, because there's a lot that we give away by not taking responsibility for our own choice of the way we choose to think, what we choose to believe, how we choose to feel, and how we choose to behave. Once you get a handle on knowing that you can do that for yourself, then you change your whole energy dynamic within yourself and therefore around you towards other people. So I've learned to be on both sides of this camera, both as a speaker, as an actor, as a life skills coach, that people truly respond to how they feel about us. It's not what we have to sell, it's how they feel about us and how they feel in our presence, whether they feel safe, whether they feel relaxed, whether they feel, oh my God, this person's full of tension, I don't know, I might say the wrong thing, I might do the wrong thing, I've got to walk on eggshells around them. So obviously, in that kind of state of energy that we're able to create within ourselves, we're not doing ourselves or anybody else any favours. So I highly recommend, right now, right here, as you watch this video, just do that simple little thing. As they say in spiritual teachings, the truth is simple and it sets us free. So to yourself, be true. Who's our true self? It's that intuitive knowing in our heart. When we know deep inside, I should stop, and we don't. When we know deep inside, I should breathe, and we don't. When we know I should relax right now, and we don't. Because the head says, I haven't got time, too busy, what would people think? They wouldn't employ me again. If I do all of these things, immediately stress. So we push things away from us with our energy rather than attract them to us. I think I can honestly say that I'm actually sitting here right now in this first class luxury cabin in one of my acting jobs, acting roles, and these things really come to me because I've learned through the hard knocks of life how to be more aware and more conscious of catching myself when I'm tempted to sell myself down the line, and check my thinking, check my awareness of how I'm holding myself and carrying myself, check my breathing, and check if am I really in a good place with me, that it's not me faking it, but it's actually me feeling, do you know what? I really know how to be in a good place with myself. And people sense that and know that, and it's the greatest gift that we can give to ourselves or anybody else. So I highly recommend. Breathe, relax, enjoy. Breathe, relax, enjoy. Breathe, relax, enjoy.